Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler Greg Larson. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing great because Todd looks like he's got a sweet people's eyebrow right now. It's making my night. So, and also, the 49ers are 4-0, so that's pretty sweet. How are you doing, Ozzy?
I don't want to hear anything about 4-0 because
we should state we're recording this October 1st.
Yeah, we're recording this October 1st. This is to be aired on October 9th, at which point I think the Raiders will be playing Monday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers, who will have had rest from Thursday this past week. Is that weird? I mean, as a Niners fan, you should, agree with me that that's a little weird, don't you think? Thursday to Monday, that's a lot of rest. Anyway, also with us, Flesh Wound producer Todd, before I get into my whole digression.
Too late.
It is too late. And I forgot where I was going. But it was something about trying to make an excuse for the Raiders. But was it about today's game? How, oh my God, the defense is having such an amazing day. The defense had a legendary day. It's a rookie quarterback making his first NFL start. I must have missed that part on the commentary. I don't know if you guys heard that, but I didn't. You guys probably didn't watch the game because there was. But you know what I was talking about, the 4-0. That's what it was. 4-0. You say 4-0, and I see 40. And 40 is the number that Christian McCaffrey scored in fantasy football. And of course, who am I playing against in fantasy football this week? And wasn't it too much? He had to score 40 points. He could have scored 20. He could have scored 20 points, and I would have been fine. But no, he had to score 40 points like a jerk. And then I lost. Well, I technically haven't lost. Fireworks, I forgot. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. All I need, and again, this is October 9th that this is going to be released, I believe. So this is, I would need the results of last week's Monday Night Football. You can actually look this up if you're interested. DK Metcalf and the Seattle defense. I need them to go ham. And if they go ham, you'll see me very happy on the next episode. Unless, of course, my team drops another bomb. But
so
we'll see what happens.
Depending on that game, whose record would be better, yours or the Raiders?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Because I see your trophies doing that glitching thing again. And I'm just curious.
Don't put such sick, evil thoughts into this world.
I think it's like the Back to the Future photo happening.
Oh, come on!
That's right.
No! Stop it!
It really is the most wonderful time of the year, making Ozzy paranoid and upset about his trophy.
Okay, listen. Let's move on. Everybody's tuned in to see a review of... Excuse me?
The Asterisk Trophy?
Everybody tuned in to see a review of the film that we're going to review and discuss today, The Private Eyes. This was released on November 21st, 1980. Todd, do you have a trailer available?
Yes, sir, I do.
Who better to solve England's most puzzling mystery than these two international crime busters?
Yes? Good day. I'm Inspector Winship, and this is my assistant, Dr. Tart.
With the law and the order.
Gathering vital clues from every available source.
Well.
Step by step, Tim Conway and Don Knotts prove murder can be deadly in The Private Eyes. Who will be the next victim?
Got that message? Better send it off to the yard and let them know we're here.
I suspect that they would like to see me dead.
Well, you can relax now that we're here.
Danger is their constant companion. Fear is an unknown factor.
These people are dropping like flies. Don't you people realize that you're next unless we get to the bottom of this?
Tea isn't supposed to foam. Here. Stir it.
These great sleuths, given the clue, come up with the perfect solution.
Hey, we must be near a bowling alley.
We have among us a murderer. And that killer is right here in this room. All right, hold it right there. Gun, give me your gun.
Tim Conway is the dim-witted Dr. Todd. And Don Knotts is the inept Inspector Winship. In... oh my gosh. The Private Eye.
Again, that was the trailer for The Private Eyes, released on November 21st, 1980. Rated PG with a runtime of 91 minutes. Written by Tim Conway and John Myers. Directed by Lane Elliott. Starring Tim Conway, Don Knotts, and Trisha Noble. Initial thoughts on this. I had never even heard of this, but I was a huge fan of The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. So when it was an older movie, just a movie starring Don Knotts, I was excited to see what we were going to get. Unfortunately, it wasn't as pleasantly satisfied, I guess you could say, with versus Ghost of Mr. Chicken, but it was a different kind of movie. Regardless,
hard
though,
to top Ghost of Mr. Chicken.
That's
It really
true.
is.
That's true. But Greg, initial thoughts on this film?
Yeah, kind of a similar thing. Hadn't seen it, but Tim Conway, Don Knotts, doesn't seem like a bad formula to work with. So, yeah, I was really excited to go into it. It's been a while since we've had a flick that was a little bit older. So I definitely went in to pace myself because I know I have to slow down, how I watch a film that's of a different time. Not that it's like ancient, but still, they definitely had different pacing. So yeah, I was really excited to go into it, and I agree with you. It's not quite the same, but it's a different feel. But yeah, it was fun to watch. That's for sure.
Todd.
All right, so I this is like legitimately, if not the very first movie going experience I have in my head. It's the second. It's either this or Star Wars when it was in the 80 re-release. I don't remember which was first, but I definitely remember this is one of my first. So I was like a few days older than 4 in a few days. So I was like 4 years old. Distinctly remember going and seeing it. And I watch it every once in a while. It's probably been about a decade, so maybe not once in a while, but so I got to revisit it. I get why I loved it when I was 4, and as I was still a kid. It is very Scooby-Doo. But I still have fun with it. It's not perfect. I can watch this with my kid this Halloween if I wanted.
So I felt before, I don't know if I should save this portion for I should save this portion for the review, but I want to get into these favorite moments because there was a lot of powerful quick hitters, and I'm going to have to take the first one here. That being them picking up a newspaper and what is it? Opens it up. It's a paper. That one got me for like a good 3 to 5 minutes. I couldn't stop laughing just on that delivery and setup. Greg?
That's a solid one. So the running bit of the poems and the last line not rhyming was great. But the cherry on top of it was the one that did, because I felt they were like, I don't care that that's our bit. I don't care that our entire movie is written this way. We have to nail this punchline because it's great. And we want to put it in here, which was Hilda is dead. And here's something to note: you can't bury her at sea because her bosoms will float. The only one that rhymed because they needed to say that, as probably the 10-year-old kid inside made them do.
But there's also a very obviously looped one that would have also rhymed and said bullshit.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
So I think going with the one was probably the better call, but they both worked. But yeah, that's also my favorite. Just the running gag of it.
Yeah.
Do you have
and even I
favorite?
like the looping too, because it makes me laugh because I know even more what they're gonna say.
Right.
Did
you have another?
I didn't write any down. There's so many little ones. That was like the only like through, and like even the stuff in the trailer. You know, I don't know if you have any more. If something pops in my head, I'll throw something else out.
Well, to your point, there, like you said, there was a bunch of little ones, which was great, but I feel it was also kind of a bit to its detriment. Because after about an hour, I was kind of like, all right, let's hurry this along now. And just like that, once we get to the like last 15 minutes, I felt it kind of dragged a little bit, and I was just kind of ready for things to be over. It's kind of like if you were to go on a roller coaster and it has like a bunch of loops and twists or whatever, and then it goes on for another 5 minutes.
It kind of goes back to what Greg was saying earlier, though. Just the pacing was different then.
That's a fair point. I didn't think about that. But regardless, in terms of how my time with it this time around.
Exactly.
It was a little tough to get through it when it came to the very end. And then once the final reveal happened, I was like, all right, cool. I'm out.
Yeah.
So I honestly think if I had never seen Clue, or if Clue didn't exist, I think I'd probably like this a little bit more. Because it had like a Clue came out 3 years after this, but there was still like
6.
Was it? I thought Clue was 83 or is
86.
86? Okay, my mistake. 86. But still, the idea of a comedic murder mystery happening in comedic deaths.
There's actually quite a few right around here. There's Murder by Death. That was like a really small subgenre for a minute. These like kooky haunted house comedy horror films. Yeah. I mean, Clue obviously being the best. That's less haunted house than murder mystery.
Right.
Right. Well, like still to that point, I feel had I not seen that,
right,
I'd maybe like this a little bit more. However,
or if you would have saw it at 4 years old like me, it would have.
Oh, if I saw it when I was 4 years old, if I saw, maybe if this was in the rotation that I had at age 6 with Airplane and Spaceballs, I probably would have loved it. But unfortunately,
and you would have got banned eventually too.
Yeah. There was some things that did not age well, specifically the chef. I felt.
Yeah.
That was a little, like a little cringy, but
different time. That's where Ozzy.
A different time. I understand.
But it's a movie Ozzy loves. It was a different time.
Well, no, but I'm just. It's still a warning.
Yes, it's a good warning.
So when it gets to the rating here, I still had fun with it despite having a slow ending. So, and I still laughed really, really hard at some moments. Just not enough to give it such a high score, but I feel comfortable giving this a 3.5. Greg?
Yeah, with this film, it had some fun moments, and it was not heartwarming as in like the story itself was heartwarming, but just like brings you to a different time of film. And so there is a great nostalgia of that. Because it was a different type of, like I said, the pacing of it, just how the interactions, there's a lot more dialogue with people, the little bit of slapstick. It was, it was a lot of fun, like a very typical Don Knotts moment. And this is going to go in kind of my, like, I enjoy like the classic films, like It's a Wonderful Life and stuff, but I don't always think they're fantastic. I do feel a movie like It's a Wonderful Life is good, but it's one of those like heartwarming films to watch with the family. That's a great thing to put on with the family, or if you watched when you were younger, has some great sentiment to it. So it's going to go in that category. It's not the funniest, it's not amazing, but it's still like it's a warming film. So I'm going to agree with Ozzy. It's a 3.5 for me. I think it's fun. I don't think it's amazing. It's one that I'll put on and probably show others, but not a solo rewatch for me.
I'm actually on par with 3.5. It's one I loved as a child, and asked me when I was 15. I still loved it. I'm a 3.5 also. It's one I will watch again, and every once in a while I do get the urge to watch it because of the fond memories of being watching as a kid. So 3.5.
3.5 across the board, and it is something you could definitely watch with the younger ones, and just temper expectations if you're a huge fan of Don Knotts, and just enjoy it for the laughs, and don't expect anything great, but just okay to have fun with the first time watch through. Of course, you can check out justwatch.com to see if at this time that whatever you're watching, this program that we are recording and will be releasing on, we are recording on October 1st. Of course, streaming can change at any time. You can check out justwatch.com to see if it's available in your area.
Not a sponsor, but they should be.
They should be, but at the same time, I don't even see ad space when I go there, so I don't know how they could pay us. Why? I'm only trying to spread information.
They make money somehow.
I'm only trying to spread information. That's all. So, in terms of many final thoughts, actually not final thoughts. I'm trying to think if I could think of a question that would pertain to this.
There's actually another movie that came out the year before that I wasn't aware of, and I might have seen it, called The Prize Fighter. Also with Don Knotts and Tim Conway. So I don't know. I think that could be a funny one too. I mean, that situation of, I don't know which one of them's the prize fighter, but I'm going to guess it's going to be Don Knotts.
Oh, I sure hope so.
It has to be.
And I'm looking at the poster. It 100% is. Okay.
Now, like I said, something to.
Can't let go of that trophy, huh?
Nope.
Did you see your name?
Have to pry it from my. I'm sorry.
What? Never mind.
Gonna have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. I was trying to think of. I usually sometimes will have a question. Sometimes when it comes to these kind of movies, but I felt there was an opportunity for a gag, like they left a door open on something that they didn't really revisit, and that was there was one particular scene where they were able to look through the painting with their own eyes, right?
Right.
So, like, a play on the title, The Private Eyes, and they're actually spying, whatever. And they left the backside of the portrait as is, which could have left an opportunity for somebody to look at that poster or that painting with hollowed out eyes. I was hoping they were going to revert back to that. And also a note, I had written down at the beginning that I was really hoping the timed gun bit was going to come back at the very end. But unfortunately, I did not have such.
The time gun bit comes back at the end. It goes off at the end.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have to explain something. I saw this very late at night.
It's off camera.
Okay.
You just hear him talking about it real quick, and you hear the pop.
I was hoping. I guess I was more hoping it would have something to do with the.
Yeah, it wasn't like
climax of the film.
Yeah, you don't have to explain how you missed it. It was an easy blink, and you missed it.
Okay, well there you go. Because as soon as I was pretty much done, I was all right. Like I said, I'm out when it was the final reveal of what we saw. I'm not saying let down, but
yeah. Hey, on your point though about the painting, what if it went another route? What if it was like there's a painting of like the statue of David, and
You can't even finish it. We are so immature.
All right. Yeah, enough said.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I did went ahead and check this out. This film is available to purchase or rent. It is not available to stream anywhere at this time.
You can't. It is on Blu-ray though too, so you
Well,
can't pick it up on Blu-ray or DVD.
Is this one in your massive collection that you have behind you, Todd?
It's actually not behind me. It's actually over there, but
okay.
Actually, it might be back there. I don't remember. It might be on. I watched it yesterday, so who knows?
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the review for The Private Eyes, available to purchase or rent digitally, and of course, as Todd mentioned, the Blu-ray version. If you are available in the area of Southern California, we'll be hosting trivia 4 times this week. Monday in Lake Forest at the Rush Barn Grill beginning at 6:30. Tuesdays at the brewery in Placentia beginning at 7 o'clock. Wednesday in Los Alamitos at Griffin's Grill beginning at 7:30. And Thursdays at the Honey Pond Meadery in Anaheim beginning at 7:30 as well. Every song you hear has something to do with the answer. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it's a little wacky and weird. If you could figure out my wacky and weird way of thinking, you could win up to $25 of my own money. Last Thursday, I gave away $15. I mean, like, I want to say that wasn't fun. So that wasn't fun.
did
was not expecting it.
Take some DMT or something?
No. It was. Well, I mean, I kind of walk because, like, you know, it's a Thursday night. I want to get people excited, so I'll kind of like walk people along. You know, like I had one of the answers as being The Taming of the Shrew, so I had played The Joker by Steve Miller Band to reference Heath Ledger, right? Because he's in the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, which the source material was from Taming of the Shrew.
Should have used the moonlighting route.
Well, regardless, when I had said I'd use the Steve, and I announced the song, I used the Steve, I have the $5 bill in my hand. Steve Miller Band, The Joker, $5. Anyone tell me why? Silence. I was like, okay, I want to get these people excited about something. I said, I was referencing the variation of the Joker of The Dark Knight, played by Heath Ledger. And that's immediately when a girl raised her hand. She's like, oh, he would. And then, like, she was trying to, like, find the words to say exactly what I needed to hear.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I was looking for ultimately at the end of the day. And that could be you, ladies and gentlemen, for free. You don't even have to pay anything.
Take Ozzy's money.
Yeah.
You could leave with my money. That's even better.
You could leave with money. What my money? What other trivia host does that? Honestly,
none of the smart ones.
Yeah,
yeah, only the smart ones.
Okay, great if Ozzy's lights start blinking out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in this episode of Flesh Wound Farce. We'll be back in next week with a brand new episode. This is our month of horror comedy, so we will be coming back next week, I believe, with Scary Movie. Is that correct? Tusk. Oh, I apologize. It'll be Tusk. Then we'll have Scary Movie. And if you are a Patreon member at the Flesh Wound Network, no, Flesh Wound Radio, patreon.com/Flesh Wound Radio.
Features.
Dang it. Patreon.com/Flesh Wound Features. Follow the link. Todd's going to have a link.
Link in description. Right here. Always, every episode
link is in the description. You could vote on what movie we will get to see. I do know one of these. Actually, I don't know any of these movies that we are going to, or that you have the opportunity to vote on, because Todd doesn't like to tell me, because some of these might please me and some of these might displease me.
I don't want to hear about you getting pleased, Ozzy.
I would be a fan of some of these choices, and I would not be a fan of some of these choices. So the choice is up to you. If you are a Patreon member, once again, that's patreon.com/Flesh Wound Features. Link is in the description. That is world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd. I'm Ozzy V, and I'll see you next week right here on a brand new episode of Flesh Wound Farce.